Welcome to episode 200 of a Cigar Hustler Podcast.
We made it to 200.
200.
And we're still alive.
Yes.
And you had guests and we took them away.
I pushed my guest back a week.
Episode 201.
Because we have another guest.
Yes, we have another guest.
I hope that wasn't on my behalf.
No. You're fine. You're topical.
Okay.
Yes, you're topical. Like an ointment, yes.
Yeah, like an ointment, exactly.
Yes, it's
we
a
have
cooling ointment.
We have a rash, and we need topical ointment.
It's very topical.
All right, Michael, introduce our guest, Michael.
Oh, once the music goes away, you want to do your thing?
There's your music.
Oh, drop that back in, man. Come on.
I didn't even print that out.
You want to do the U2, the la 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 la?
Yeah, but introduce him first. I don't do the.
All right, well, we have Brian Desind of Privada Cigar Club.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah,
I made it,
there's
finally.
there's a lot of shit going on.
Make sure you talk right into the microphone,
I
Jim.
made it, finally.
We have a lot of shit going on. Brian's got a lot of stuff going on as well. And I thought that it was a good idea to come on the show and kind of say your whole piece, you know?
Sure.
I love cigars. Thank you.
I appreciate the opportunity.
Ooh, I had some Tony the Tigers earlier.
Oh,
It's
Tony the
called
Tiger.
Not Tony.
It's
not Tony.
Not
the
the
Tony.
affiliate.
Not the
I
Tony the
understand.
Tiger.
Yes.
With Kellogg's
Oh.
or Tony the Tiger.
I understand.
Right.
So, but I brought you the raw deal.
This is fantastic.
This
Oh,
is
this
not
is
how
nice.
it goes out. Obviously, we can't do that.
But cool.
Oh, yeah, very cool.
Yeah,
All right. You too can be a part of our podcast family and invest in our show. Put your products in front of thousands of listeners and viewers every episode. We are heard on 13 different podcast providers weekly all around the world. To have your ad read right here in this spot with the not the Tony the Tiger cigars, contact me at mikeandmikeproductions.com. And always please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe on whichever of our many providers you use.
Yes.
Nice. And to any Privada members listening to this, please like, subscribe these guys. Check them out weekly.
Yeah, man. Please do. All right, so you had a bit of a bomb go off on your website.
Yeah.
You had some bad experiences. You started selling Persian rugs, I believe, which is pretty fucking comical.
It was.
So shit was a mess. You released this video.
Yeah.
I believe that pretty much the whole fucking world has seen this video at this point.
Oh, it's crazy.
You know, and it's kind of fascinating. You've made comments, not accusing anybody. But there were hypotheticals, you know, because it's important to never ever outright accuse somebody, especially on video or
Allegedly.
Or that's why we throw
We
allegedly.
throw a lot of allegedlys out in
we
the
are
show.
we are some allegedly motherfuckers. So
Yeah. Listen, I don't want anyone to think that the people that I mentioned in that
Right
video,
into the microphone.
Sorry, man.
That's okay.
There you go.
Okay.
Ooh, oh, much
So
better.
Yeah,
I
there you
don't
go.
I don't want anyone to think that the people that I mentioned in that video I'm saying did that or had
Right.
anything to do with that.
Right,
That's
'cause you
not what
didn't
I
at
meant.
all.
No.
Right.
It was more me venting like, dude, I'm fucking tired of this shit.
Right.
You know, I'm tired of the bullshit. I'm tired of getting, you know, cease and desists. I'm tired, which is, again, and I bring some of this on myself. Like I was telling you off air, like I
Right.
live in reality here. I
Right.
get what I'm doing.
It only gets worse.
Right. And we're having fun with cigars, and this is my way of keeping it exciting.
Right.
And you know, but as we grow, as
Yeah.
the audience and awareness grows, we have to be more and more careful. It's not the boys' club, you know, in the basement anymore.
Yeah, you can get away with doing small runs of 2,000 sticks or whatever, just kind of messing around. But as you continue to build, that's when shit starts to get real, right? Because at this point, I mean, what you've done is pretty remarkable. Whether people fucking don't like you or they do,
Yeah,
it should be acknowledged, right? I mean, it's funny to me when you made a comment on your video of like, we've been doing this for 4 years, and I'm thinking, I mean, that's not really all that. Like, that ain't shit, because then I start thinking about myself. I'm like, fuck, I've been doing it in 12 years. But what's remarkable is how fast you grew in that time span, and like, I don't think anybody else in this industry has come fucking remotely close to that,
Wow. So that's a big statement from you.
Yeah.
Thank
but
you.
But it's honest,
So one of the first calls I got was from Pete Johnson.
Okay.
And we definitely got into it a little bit. And it's very important for people to know how much I respect Pete. Pete was one of the reasons why I started the club in the first place.
Okay.
XIFEI, the brand, was. How that has played out doesn't matter.
Right.
It's important to know that. So Pete called me like, big bro, like, what the fuck?
Right.
I'm allowed to curse here.
Of course.
Oh,
yeah.
He was like, what the fuck?
Well,
Why
you dropped
would
a
you
fucking atom bomb on YouTube.
He was like, why the fuck would you say that? He was like, it's my right to protect my trademarks. Like, this is a business that we're in. And, you're acting like a young punk right now kind of thing.
Right.
And I was like, I get it, but
Right.
there's this generational divide here with
Right.
the, trademarking holidays and, what I can and can't do. It is what it is, but
Right.
the bottom line is that shit needs to be respected. And I definitely had a little bit of a brat moment where I was like, fuck this. I'm over this shit.
Right.
I'm also really bad with authority, which is something I need to grow up on.
Right.
When you start texting me, hey, Mike, I saw that sign in your store window. Hey, you're gonna have to change. You're like, you
Right.
get like 3 or 4 of those over the course of a year.
Yeah.
And you're like, dude, fuck you. I don't want to fuck you. Yeah.
Dude, look, I think it's great that you've already kind of gotten to that point.
Yeah.
I think that it takes years to really have, the pendulum has swung, right? So like you're all the way back over here, and like you're in full fucking beast mode. I think a lot of people wouldn't necessarily get to that beast mode until later on in their industry.
That was his thing. Was like 4 years. I've been doing.
Right.
Padilla
Yeah.
says the same. Fucking 4 years.
Right.
I've been doing this 20 years. Fuck
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
It's like, okay, I get it. We're still young.
But there's no dick measuring contest here.
Sure.
I think that what's even a little more remarkable is that you actually got to a point where you're already like, hey, fuck that, man. No, that's not okay. This is my opinion, and I don't agree with it. Yeah. Because the majority of the people in this industry are very happy to throw a fucking rock and hide their hand, right? Like, whoa,
sure,
who did that?
I didn't see that.
Yeah, and it only gets worse. As you continue to grow, you're still gonna have you're gonna have more and more of those experiences. The difference is how you're gonna handle it moving forward, right? Because I think that if you took anything from what you said, like you realize that it was definitely emotionally driven, right?
For sure.
And this game is definitely chess and ain't checkers.
Sure.
Right? So go ahead. I didn't mean to.
No, you didn't cut me off.
Right.
I think the good point is I got my point across, and I also had a conversation with 3 out of the 3 people that I named directly or offended directly.
Right.
And we're all on great terms.
Yeah, that's great because they're all good guys.
They are.
They are.
Charlie Minato and I had a conversation. Pete Johnson and I had a conversation. William Cooper and I exchanged emails. Like, I think we're all moving on, and there's going to be no drama.
That's good. That's really good, man.
You do get super paranoid, though, when you get 4 cease and desists, which are very questionable. Almost all of them could be. This is the lawyer's conversation. Listen, Brian, we could take it to court, but why? Just change the band. You want to pay me to do that? Like, forget about it. Just let's move on. Can you get sued for using this? Probably not.
Right.
But why? Why go there? So
Right.
so that's the kind of. So when someone sends you a cease and desist, it doesn't necessarily mean that you broke the law or you really infringed on their trademark. They feel you do. And the whole thing with trademark is confusion. It's one word, right? Is it confusing? And there are certain things that I can look at both ways that we've done it. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that going forward. I'm not going to look to do that. Like this, and it's going to seem hypocritical because, bro, like the cigar that you're smoking, that's at least 9 months sitting in our coolers.
Right.
So it's a year-age project. 3 months at the factory, 9 months here, and it just came out last month. So, like, I can't afford to can the projects that are already rolled, banded, and sitting in coolers at my warehouse. Right. I'm going to have to put Sharpies on the front of them and put band and
Which
stuff
I love.
like that.
I mean, we called it the Sharpie collection.
Is that what happened with the last one?
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
You're going to see plenty more
we like
of that
the Sharpie
for
collection.
a little while.
Right.
But I'd say like 6 to 9 months from now that won't be. So this Sharpie collection, this is all going to be stuff that you can collect and look back on and go, I remember that time.
Sharpie series is badass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you just, I like having fun with things, just kind of rolling with it. So, like if that's what you're if that's what happens, that's what happens. You know,
as long as it's organic,
right?
And that's the one thing I do want to say: cigars. This isn't boxing. This isn't music. This isn't. This is something that should have some respect on it.
I mean, I wish it was boxing.
You would.
Oh yeah, sometimes you would.
I'm out.
I'd be fine with that.
So like but I don't want to be the Conor McGregor of cigars. That's not what I'm looking to do. I have so much a tremendous amount of respect for all the people that came before us, and I want to shine a light on the blenders that have been making these products that we all love so much. So yeah, I mean, look, we took lemons and we made lemonade.
Right.
There was no way that I was going to spend the kind of money that we had to spend to get out of that situation and potentially start from zero, because that's what I thought it was going to be up until Friday morning.
Right.
I was like, that's it. I'm pulling the plug on this. Like, forget it. This is 5 nights of you guys sitting up until 4 o'clock in the morning doing this stuff, like, and you're costing $500 an hour.
Right.
Okay? No, we're just going to start from zero. The members that really love this thing, they're going to come
around,
back.
yeah.
And I'm
You have that
okay
data.
with that.
Right.
I'm okay with that. You know, I'd be okay with starting from ground zero, because, and you made a point about how far we've come in the 4 years. It's not me. Like, okay, if I'm patting myself on the back, I've done a great job of serving my people,
right?
And I've done a great job of facilitating a community. But this is them.
Sure.
And timing.
Yeah. I agree with both of those statements, for sure.
So cigars were ready to transition into the next millennium.
Right.
It was being kind of held back for a while. There's small groups of people like you guys that were doing your things within a smaller niche community.
Right.
You know, like, you have shirts on the wall that I'm like, I want to ask you about on air, but I'm afraid to ask you about on air, because I think what that shirt means. I think I know what it means, but I don't want to ask because I don't want to offend anyone.
All right, okay. That's cool. Yeah, you ask when we get off.
Does it have to do with someone that's no longer there?
I don't know which one you're talking about.
The one with the line on it.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
So
we did a sample.
we can totally talk about that. We can totally
Okay.
talk about that shit. So, I mean, you know, he was always around. Like, and I did it as a joke. Right, I'm like, oh, so I made the joke for the Roma shirts. I'm like, oh, I guess that so much for the Vasquez shirts, right? So fucking Skip calls me and he sends
his first name?
Danny.
Yeah.
So he fucking sends them all to me. I pay him. I can't turn the deal down, right? Because if anything, I could just wash my car with them. Who gives a fuck? Right. So then I got them all, and then I took a fucking white strip to all of them.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you did that yourself?
We did it.
Oh yeah, we did it here.
Wow.
Yeah, because they
I'm
just
probably
had
gonna need
them.
one of those.
So you can totally have one, man.
Right.
No doubt.
No, I'll buy it for sure.
So, but look, you know, we do a lot of things in fucking in poor taste, but just in good humor. You know, we have a good time with it, and no one has really
Here's
come.
my point, though.
Right. Go ahead.
You have to be such a Roma head
To
know that.
Oh yeah.
And that's cool.
Yeah.
That's inspiring to me. That's what I like about this thing, is that there's so many of these, and there will continue to be so many of these, you know, all about that one factory, that one thing, that one blender, you know, whatever it is. And so it's really awesome. The only thing I can say is, and I don't think there's any way that I was gonna do this and I wasn't gonna have, you know, 5% of people be like, fuck, what is this kid thinking? You know, that kind of shit. But like, I wish that they would like try to do what I do and critically think and like really look at it from a global standpoint. I'm here to add to. I want to add value. Every single blender I work with, I add value. Justo Iroa just called me. He was like, my wife said I never looked better. And I was like, dude, this is what I'm trying to do. Like, we did a video with him. It looks like a movie star. It looks like fucking Ray Liotta was on our set. Like, this is what I want to do. I want to add value to everyone. And when you reached out to me over this, first of all, you joined up with the LCA without even a question. And that was before it was anything.
Right.
And I'm just like, dude, I got to be more involved with these guys. Like, you have your own thing, and I think that's really cool. The shop is cool. And the fact that you're so entrenched in the Roma brand, like, that's cool.
They're my dudes. They're family, you know.
So Danny's no longer there. He lives in Tampa.
Yeah, he kind of fell off, man. He
made me feel like Roma did not want to fuck with us at all. And maybe that's true, but
I mean,
I've never spoke to Skip.
I don't think that it's they don't want to fuck with you. I think that what they produce, they're so far past capacity that it's not even, you know, it's hard for them to entertain anything like that.
And that's somewhere where I learned through this process that I need to grow the fuck up a little bit too. Just because Half Wheel isn't the website I want it to be doesn't mean I need to fucking you know, feel a certain way. Just because Roma doesn't make an exclusive for us doesn't mean I need to feel
like,
it's
well,
not
fuck you
personal.
guys.
Right. It's not personal. Bro. And that was the conversation I had with Pete. He's like, dude, I'm on an 18-year path. I have a specific lane. I'm in no rush. Everything is great. I'm back ordered. Life is good. Like, sorry, you don't fit into my business model, but it doesn't mean I don't love you.
Right. And, you know, I think that that's kind of going on a lot right now in the industry. But, like, let me take a step back. What is kind of remarkable about what you do is that, you know, and you did kind of ping this on your video was, you know, what you always try and promote and get more new cigar smokers.
Yes.
Right? And that's something that a lot of retailers don't do. I mean, I don't think fucking, we could probably count them on one finger. I mean, there isn't a lot. There's not a lot of manufacturers or brand owners that look, you can ask them, what are you doing to create new smokers? And there'll be no fucking answer. We used to do, for shits and giggles, I was doing like a cigar mentor thing, trying to promote it and have people just introduce cigars, but not burying somebody, to somebody else.
Do you feel bad if like a 21, like I saw a couple comments on that video that I was like, ooh, I didn't know. Like, I'm 21 years old. I never smoked a cigar before I saw your videos, and now I'm all in. I got every manager at my company signed up for your club.
Right.
And I'm like, I mean, that's cool
That's
and all,
awesome.
but am I like, I mean, I've done enough research to say that I don't feel like it's terribly unhealthy. I think that there's a lot of unhealthy people that smoke cigars.
Do you think that the CEO of McDonald's is like, man, we really got to scale back the calories?
Gotta healthy up these French fries.
I want to be a conscious
all organic
person,
cigars.
So it is what it is. I try to influence
are.
people, to smoke in a healthy situation.
Oh, well, I mean, there's been some studies that show that there isn't really a big effect of
1
it.
to 2, right?
Yeah. Cigars have always been demonized, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think that you're doing anything wrong by it.
So
first, you're not forcing anybody to fucking smoke a cigar.
that video was important, and it was pivotal, and I think it changed everything for me.
Right.
I know that. I'm sorry, man.
I can watch it. I don't want to lose what you're
You
saying.
know what? We use like these boom mics when we record.
Yeah.
I
Right.
don't have to. So this is directional.
This is the
it's different.
podcast,
For,
yeah, it's like
okay.
a fucking
I gotta get
shotgun
used to the
approach.
hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, there you go.
Hey, so it changed everything. It changed this industry. It changed me. It changed our membership. It changed the way that we look at things. And up until now, it's been like, we are Privada, hashtag we are the future, hashtag we are family. And like, it's not hashtag we are the future. We're kind of the now.
Right.
And I don't want to say that in a cocky way.
No.
I want to be really careful about that because I am a humble person to a large degree. I make a lot of jokes.
Didn't look like that on the video at all. Well, not fucking 1 second. Okay.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So
Right.
I want
We
to
need clarification, right?
at least that's the way that I want to be seen. Whether it's completely true or not, I think we're all, some of us are either cocky or unconfident to some degree.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely something to be said about having a little bit of swag and some confidence when you talk, and like, this is how I feel, this is what I am.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't agree? Okay, well, fuck you too.
Right. So,
But like, it's remarkable that you got to that point in such a short period of time. Because I don't mean to cut you off,
no.
but like, I've got fucking punched in the face plenty of times in this industry, and when I felt like I wasn't qualified at first, I was like, man, I guess I'm not qualified. But then after a while, I'm like, wait a second, who the fuck are you? Right. No, you don't count. You sit the fuck down, and that makes you even more dangerous than before.
I'll tell you where that came from. And I don't want people in the industry to think that, I don't want brand owners to think that this is a bad statement. But it took me 4 years. I've been in search of the best cigars that I can possibly find.
Right.
Okay. And to say, and like I hear consumer talk, like chatter, like, oh, I tried this and it wasn't that good. Well, listen, I don't make cigars.
Right.
I find the best cigar makers I can, and I try to shine light on them.
Right.
So you didn't like that cigar from that factory, but keep going. There's more. You know what I'm saying? Don't judge me on one release or one this. And I'd like to think that we don't put out any bad cigars. You just might not like one or two.
Right.
Like, this is an amazing cigar. I didn't love it when it first came in. Other people told me it was so great. Lou Liga, the asshole that he is.
Did you just say they're great or just so great?
Right.
So, Michael, it was
Think
so.
about that. That's good. I got to work that into my routine here. So,
Right.
Well, okay, here's what I'm saying.
Liga, right.
Where the confidence came from. No, he smoked a bundle of them while I was at my house on a weekend. I was like, are they that good? He was like, yes.
Yeah, he's a weasel.
So he's something.
Step up his weasel game. Let me hold that for you.
So, long story short, I realized that being a brand and being a cigar maker are two different things.
Yep.
And most of the voices in this industry are from brand owners.
Correct.
I've made cigars for brand owners in the last year.
Right.
So what does that tell you? You understand what I'm saying?
It's like,
it's like, wait, I'm making your cigars now, or at least in being majorly involved. Not just like I'm commissioning you to make a cigar. It's like, no, we're already at that factory, so we'll get them made. We don't want to wait for your money problems and all this shit, to fucking come to fruition. I got to wait 9 months and,
Right.
So that's where we're at now with a lot of this stuff. It's like, yo, you like that blend? Okay, but you want to put this wrapper on it?
Right.
And we made it over here? Okay, we'll do that for you.
Right.
And then just get me the bands.
Yeah, I mean, there's a big learning curve. And, as time progresses, you get better at it. Mm-hmm. So.
But if you're not making the cigars, what are you going to tell me about cigars?
Right.
You studied.
Well, everybody chimes in from the rafters, man. It's just, that's the fucking society we live in.
But that's where my confidence came from, was sitting with the cigar manufacturers and watching them laugh at us.
Right.
And I'm like, really?
Fired you up.
Yeah.
Fucking A, man.
It just made me realize that, okay, like we're all kind of on the same level. Now, maybe you're a Dion and you blend your own stuff. Okay. That's, I'm not going to challenge
a couple of them out there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's like, dude, like, come on. Mm-hmm. We're all in this thing together. The only thing that I could say when I analyze myself is the difference between me and a lot of the people that I've seen that could have done this. There's a major difference in generational mindset, not necessarily age, but I was always super young on the thinking tip, like as far as like music, film. I was trying to be a famous musician till like 10 years ago. Right. So like I have a whole different mindset. The websites that I read online on a daily basis are totally different from anyone else in the industry, right? So I'm bringing a more of a street culture thing into this. But the other thing was, damn it, I forgot.
It's okay.
The other thing that is different, money.
Right.
I didn't need the money. Dude, I didn't think this thing was going to make money.
Right.
I started this to get rid of my collection. We were moving from Pennsylvania to Los Angeles.
I was going to ask how you got into this.
So here's what happened. I was living in Florida. Mm-hmm. I moved. Okay, so I got out of music, which is impossible to do. Most musicians never stop doing music, right? And so I got out of music, got off drugs, by the way, because that's a part of the music industry for the most part.
With it.
Yeah, and it was a miserable time. I moved down to Miami. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I had visited Miami often and had a fucking amazing time every time I'd go.
Right.
And when I got there to live, I felt like, A, I'm alone on vacation.
Right.
B, I have no money. C, I'm withdrawing from opioids and nothing's that much fun.
Right.
And I'm like alone and I just didn't feel great. And I don't speak Spanish. You really should speak Spanish if you're going to move to Miami. Yeah.
I recommend that.
So I got into a terrible relationship for like a year or so. I was a chauffeur. I thought,
nice.
I thought I was gonna, first of all, I thought I was gonna make a killing as a chauffeur. Second of all, I thought like, okay, I'm gonna like pick someone up and they're gonna see like how serious I take it, and they're gonna be like, hey, I've got this Fortune 500 company you should come run. Yeah, they're gonna hire the chauffeur to run their company. So this is like a delusion that I had. I was gonna meet someone.
Nice 80s movie.
Yes, that's right. Like a cocktail or something.
Yeah, Michael J. Fox.
Great. We got to make the cocktail cigar next. So someone's trademarked that already. So, okay. So I have this con artist uncle. He's a legit con artist. I haven't seen this guy since I was probably 10 years old. He came to my house with $20,000 in 20s, and I counted it out, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And every time I asked my dad, like, what does this guy do? He's supposed to be my uncle, Uncle Ace.
Right.
And he always talked about the jungle.
Okay.
And I was like, Dad, what's the everything about this guy? Oh my God, the jungle. It's jail. You don't want to go to the jungle. Right. All right, and then like the money, and I'd be like, Dad, what's this guy? He's a fucking con artist. I don't know if he could get his mind right. My father's been best friends with him since they were like 10.
Right.
He was like, if he could get his mind right, he could be like the best CEO of any company in the world. But he's a fucking con artist. So I'm going through this terrible breakup. I've got nowhere to stay, and my father's like, Ace lives in Tampa. You should call him. Go see him. So I go up there, and man, I fell in love with Tampa.
Right.
I fell in love with it. For a single young person in their 30s with a work-from-home job, and I was making decent money by then, it was really cool.
Tampa's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and so I hung out, and I just, really partied for a long time, for like a year and a half.
Right.
And then but that's where I got into cigars.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so I'm at this place called Tampa Humidor. Mm-hmm. Okay, and there's this dude
I've
named
heard of it.
Brian.
Something about it.
There's this dude named Brian there, and
Okay.
he used to be like a rep for Oliva. He's kind of a big,
Right.
big boy. And one day, I'm just smoking cigars like just to like hang out. I don't know
Right.
what I'm doing or what I'm
Socialize,
tasting. Yeah.
fucking get out of the house.
So one day he brings out this like,
Not do drugs.
Right, exactly. He brings out this this box of Las Calaveras.
Okay.
And I was like, "What's that?" And he was like, "Oh, he was like, these are gonna be gone by like the end of the day."
Right.
And then like a couple weeks later, he shows me a jar of Black Label Tatuaje.
Okay.
And I by the way, I was a sneakerhead this whole time.
Okay.
But I was like, all right, I'm like 35 now, and like this is getting old with the sneakers.
All right, so we've had a lot of hobbies.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm like,
This is getting. What am I gonna do with all these fucking shoes?
yeah. So I got rid of most of my sneakers, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get into cigars now.
Right.
And you couldn't tell me. I believed from the moment that I caught the bug for collecting cigars, you couldn't tell me that cigars weren't going to at least triple in price. Like
Right.
I was like, oh no. Like this is like NFT before anyone
Right.
knows about it. Like
Right.
that's really how I felt.
Okay.
And so I started collecting with enthusiasm. Went up to Pennsylvania, got with a wholesaler, started collecting even more. We were building this house with my father. He's a builder up there. And the house was 6,000 square feet. I had a 400 square foot room stocked, filled up to the ceiling with about this, regular ceiling height with cigars.
So you paid retail for.
Some of them.
Right.
I got with this wholesaler and he would hook
Okay.
me up.
Okay, that's cool.
And so, yeah, I mean, now that I'm a retailer, I'm like, it's kind of, whatever. It is what it is. So,
It's all right.
right.
It's how you got here.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
So, had all these cigars. My wife got pregnant, and we were like, all right, we should move to LA because our family's like really tight knit.
Okay.
They would help. I mean, I was in Pennsylvania for like a year, and I saw my dad like 3 times. He lived five minutes. I mean, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but
Right,
like
I got
we
you.
really,
Right.
I don't have a tight family.
Right. What are you doing Sunday, Dad?
Right,
Yeah.
nothing. Nothing with you. So, unless you want to smoke a joint. That's all my dad does.
If you want to drive by and wave,
He
that's
smokes
fine.
pot all day and like
Okay.
does construction jobs. So I'm
Super
like,
focused.
Yeah.
He's very dialed in.
He has no idea where I came from. Yeah. So we end up moving from a 6,000 square foot home into a 750 square foot apartment.
Okay.
And
That's a big downsize.
yeah. And so I had no idea what I was going to do with these cigars. So I started getting, bro, I wasn't connected to the community then, like on the message boards or anything like that. So I started trying to sell these cigars. And to me, they were extremely special. And no one wanted to give me reasonable price for them.
Right.
So I was like, okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start one of these subscription businesses that everyone's talking about. This is like 2015, 16. I'm going to start one of these subscription businesses. So what happens was I start this business, and then I realized that you can't advertise tobacco anywhere.
Nope.
So I was like, I feel
This
like
sucks.
such a douche. I paid like $1,500 to have this guy like build the beginning website and
Right.
everything. I did a video, another $1,000, and here I can't even, So somehow I boxed a lot of this stuff up. I wrote about the cigars. It's been a long time, about a year, like putting this whole thing together.
Right.
And then I couldn't sell them. And so we moved, and I kept a lot of the cigars at my father's house. And then I had them shipped down to Florida to this guy that was distributing for me. And, man, nothing happened, dude. Like the first 3 months, I was like, this is a wash.
This is tough,
I
yeah.
also started an underwear business at the same time.
Oh.
Yeah, men's underwear, all bamboo with
Okay.
a pocket for your junk up front.
That's
I was like, that's going to take off the cigar. I'm just getting rid of my cigar.
I actually hear more people talking about the underwear
Yeah,
now.
they make the underwear now is a big thing
Check
with
this
the
out. It's a little
pocket.
cup for your balls.
Yeah, it's
pocket in the
amazing.
front.
I love it. It keeps you dry, and you know what I mean. So I still have them. One day I'm going to put them on the site. I've got thousands of pairs of underwear and the packaging and everything, and I'm just like, I don't know if I want to do that. That would really give the haters something to talk about.
Buy
Right?
one, get one thing.
So
Get underwear free.
Hey, this
Yeah.
month you get underwears, guys.
Right.
Congratulations.
so
I gotta move them.
So that's so funny because that's when I met Pete Johnson. I was calling his office so much that he was like, stop calling. Like they were just like, all right,
Please.
enough. We don't do clubs. We have our own club. Leave us alone.
Right.
So a week, literally, like that was like Monday, Friday, I'm at this, LA has a lot of like private stuff once you get in the scene there.
Right.
So I met this dude, Life of Lux, on Instagram. He actually hit me up. He was like, yo, come through to this thing. I see you're in LA. Come through to this thing we're having. So we're in the back of this restaurant, and I'm telling him this story. I'm like, damn, I can't get Tatuaje to like sell me anything. He was like, so I asked my boy, hold on a sec. And like within 2 hours, Pete Johnson walks through the door.
No shit.
And he sits down, and I'm like like part of me is like, all right, tell them who you are. And the other part of me is like, nah, I'm not going to tell them who I am. Let's just have a great conversation about cigars. And honestly, probably the best conversation I've ever had about cigars. When you smoke a cigar with Pete and listen to all his stories, it's just like, wow, this guy, he loves it.
Tell me about the XIFEI.
All right, Michael. This week, show is brought to you by XIFEI Cigar Cutter. Stainless steel V-cut cigar cutter, built-in cigar punch.
Yes.
Comes in black and gold. You can find it on Amazon. It is an exquisite design in line with human body mechanics. It has a security lock, stainless steel blade, sharp and durable, small and compact, so it's easy to carry. Equipped with a flannel bag. Let's see. It also comes with an excellent gift box. It's made out of zinc alloy materials with and stainless steel.
It's a nice clean cut, man.
You can find this on Amazon for suggested retail of about $150.
It's a pretty cutter, for sure. I like it. Can I keep this one?
No, that one's mine.
Hold it like this?
Yes. No.
Like this.
There'll be a... Again, XIFEI Cigar Cutter.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Love it.
So I didn't need the money is the whole point out of this, right? Like my house was paid for before this. I have an auto transport business. It's pretty much runs itself. I have 3 employees there that run it. They do a great job. I'm able to make passive income off of that. And so I didn't get into this thinking that this would be money.
Right.
When people tell me that they're going to start a cigar business, I try to talk them out of it.
Okay.
Because, I mean, you see what it takes to make something successful. Look how ingrained you are in the community. You can't talk about this part of Florida without talking about Cigar Hustler. It's 14 years. I don't know how many of those were a major struggle, but I'm sure some were.
It's still a struggle.
You know, it's not like the most
dealing with these employees. I mean,
you gotta really love this thing. Is what I'm saying. You know,
of course, 100%.
Yeah. So I didn't need the money, and I had the newer technology and the newer way of thinking.
Right.
That's what sped it up. And then the members have done it all. I put the battery in their back, and they put the battery in mine. But like, I can't do it without them. If they left me, I'd just be some douche with cigars in my studio
with a lot of cigars.
Right, a lot, way too many.
But I mean, you've done a good job, joining other retailers as well with the whole Privada Club thing.
That was cool.
And you kind of get to understand some retailers who are really cool about it, and then
I was shocked you signed up.
Really? Why?
I was. You have a very tough exterior. Like even the first time we went in here, I was like, this guy hates us. And then like by the time we're leaving, you're like giving us stuff, we're having drinks. I'm like, wow, he's a really nice guy. But just you're a little intimidated.
I guess I have that.
Yeah. I'm just being honest.
I told you come off angry.
I'm just being honest. You come off.
Cool.
You're
tough.
The honesty. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I guess what that kind of boils back down to like having that hardened shell, right?
And you see me coming into this industry. That was 2 years ago. You see me coming into this industry, like, I don't, like you shouldn't just immediately be like, oh, I'm all open to it. Like, you got to feel people out too.
Yeah, but you're right. So you kind of, you got to do some research. But I mean, I'm always a big proponent of helping people, right? I mean, there's probably one person in the cigar industry that I would never fucking help ever. Other than that, I would.
Who is it?
We all know who it is.
Okay. So you're the only person that reached out to me and said, "What can I do to help?" That's why I was like, all right, I got to get with this guy.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's just I'm built that way, right? Yeah. Like I want to see everybody win.
Sure.
I think that's a big deal. Like if you think about how many people live in the United States that could smoke cigars, and how many people are actually smoking cigars, we're doing the fucking industry a disservice, right? There isn't enough encouragement and kind of building for this industry. So of course, when you're doing something that that's totally different, that and you deserve the fucking accolades of how quickly you developed.
Thank you.
Why wouldn't I fucking help?
I truly appreciate that. I wish everyone felt that way. And we're here to help people too.
Right.
I mean that's what the whole business was built on.
Right.
Me helping the consumer by finding them the best products they could get and making it an experience.
Right.
You can't just get a cigar from the club. Like there's reading to do. It's not for everyone because of that. Like, but the people that like want that experience, they can't get that anywhere else.
No.
And they're thrilled to have it. Right. And so I get a lot of support for what I do from the members. They encourage me. When I'm exhausted, I open up my email and I have 5 thank yous. It's like,
that's cool.
You're thanking me? Like, wow. So when I said you're the only person in the industry that offered to help, I had hundreds of the members email us. But in the industry, you're You're the only person that reached out. Like, dude, what can I do?
Right.
Like other people were like, what's going on?
Right.
But no one was like, hey, what can I do?
I was like, what the fuck happened?
Most of them were like, hey,
did
did you send the check yet? Right. It's like, all right, guy, can you give me a week?
Hey, just wanted to check in on you. Did you get my invoice?
Right.
Right. Totally. I don't like that boils back down to how a lot of people would do terms and fucking kind of space out shit, and then you saw a lot of these retailers not doing anything right, and then they couldn't pay that back. So, I mean, it still exists to this day. But like that's all fucking bass backwards in this industry, right? And I think that it's completely bass backwards for retailers not to help other retailers. You know?
That's the next generation,
right? And
that's you were. So there's a few people that were here ahead of their time, and you're one of them. You are, and that's going to pay off soon. So and if anyone's listening, that is also a little bit ahead of their time with the collaborating and wanting to work more with people in the industry, that's going to come. We're going to harness that 100%. Right. I am pushing that. I am going to leave this industry a better place. There's no doubt about it. If a few of you want to call me, I mean, I have one guy tell me that I was doing a cigar for this comedian. Uh-huh. We're doing it with Christoph. Great cigar, by the way. And Rocky Dale Davis. And Rocky almost pulled out of the deal because he couldn't understand. He got a phone call from a guy he knows that owns a shop and said, this kid is the devil.
Wow.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
And so he called all these people and he was like, is he really that? And they're like, no, he's great. So like there are these few people that have this weird, dude, call me whatever you want. Right. I'm here to better this thing. We're going to better this thing. We just ushered in the next generation of cigar smokers. We are the industry, our industry anyway. And that's another thing. I've been looking this whole first 4 years for acceptance. I've been looking for partnership, and we've gotten a lot of it, but I need to stop with that shit.
Right.
We have our own thing. Right. We're going directly to the blenders now. Mm-hmm. You know, we're always going to support the brands, and I'm going to support your brand. Okay? Sure. And we should talk about that. And, it's the point that I'm trying to make is we're building something. This is the new thing.
Right.
So like it or love it, I also look at it the other way. If I'm a dude, 50 years old and I've been smoking cigars and I love my cigars, I love my local lounge, I don't want change. Right. I get it. Right. I get it why you won't want me to come out of the blue with this crazy new way of doing things and all that stuff. I get that too, but eventually it'll be like Facebook. You'll be the one that's all over it, and your kids are going to be like, you're fucking lame. Right. I'm not on Facebook.
Enjoy your Romeo and Julietas.
Right, exactly.
Oh, Grandpa's still smoking that.
It is Privada, please.
So, yeah, I mean, all that makes sense, dude. When I heard the video, I'm glad that you came out and you talked to some of those guys, because honestly, I know that you didn't accuse any of them, but, you did bring up their names, and all of those dudes, they're solid dudes. Yeah. They really are. And I think that even with the bigger retailers, you can still develop a good relationship with those guys. It just it might take a little more time,
For sure. For sure.
But what I have come to see in this fucking 12, 13 years of being in this industry is I've seen a lot of retailers that were bigger that have really kind of been more accepting, right, to other retailers, which is astonishing for me because I know I've heard fucking horror stories about all of them.
Yeah.
And some of them I've experienced with, and I don't believe that guy's ever going to fucking change. Right. So, but people that are bigger than him have always been courteous to me.
Sure.
So
I think I know who you're talking about. Now, I do want everyone to understand something. The reason why I was mentioning people and kind of taking the gloves off was because I had two different sets of IT professionals look at this thing and tell me this was targeted. This was not. This is not. You didn't just download a plugin and get some malware. Right. This was someone that was looking to stop your business in particular.
Right.
So that was disheartening.
But it still could be fucking anyone.
It could be anyone.
You know?
We don't know who it is, and I'm not going to be paranoid about who it is. Like in the moment, that was just how I felt. You know,
it's in the past. There's nothing you do about it. Right. Yeah. But now the site's back up, right?
Site's back up on its own thing. I don't want to describe to whoever did this what the new
this is how you get back in
and the login and password.
Shut up. Right. But we took a lot of measures and it's finally there.
So this situation occurred, but you kept pushing through it. You made some adjustments, and you're probably going to come out 100 times better because of it, right?
We were doing things that we shouldn't have been doing as a company that got to where we got.
Right.
I mean, we have 6,000 people in Farm Road.
Right.
None of the other clubs even have 6,000 people. Most of them are at around 1,000, maybe 500, something like that. Okay.
Right.
We have almost 10,000 subscriptions in Privada Cigar Club.
Right.
Brian's Box has, we're getting closer to 2,000. You know, LCA, we're going to approach 500 shops any minute now.
That's pretty impressive.
Okay. Like, we shouldn't have been on a shared server.
Right.
So there were a lot of things that we were doing that, hey, it just grew so fast that we didn't get ahead of it. Same thing with our accounting. How many guy walked in there from the department of whatever, and it's like, how many cigars you have in here? And I'm like, yeah, I should probably know that.
Yeah. I'd say a fair amount. It's a firm number.
Say like, you know, like,
yeah.
And he was like, you'd say.
Right.
Okay.
Well, it's speculative. I'm like, nah, a lot.
Yeah, we're going to turn you down for this license. Call us when you know what you got.
Give us that. Yeah, when you have that number.
Right.
For sure. Well, I'm glad that you got some clarification, you know, that you got the opportunity to really kind of speak to those guys. And I'm glad that, you know, you kind of, you took this and you made some adjustments to make what you're building better.
Yeah.
And I think that you learned a valuable lesson, because when you did it, I was worried about you. I'm like, shit, like it felt like me, you know, when I was kind of get going, you know, I'm like, well, fuck, like you'd lose it, right?
Yeah.
But the platform now isn't the same as it was 12, 13 years ago.
Oh,
Instagram was kind of new.
Sure.
You know, and that's how we started building this whole business.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Good.
No, but that's where it changed my thinking.
Right.
Is we are our own thing.
Right.
We are the next generation of this industry. I'm not going to use that as an ego booster. I never have used this company as an ego booster.
Right.
I was supposed to be, in my mind, until about 33 years old, some famous musician that ruled the world, not the cigar industry.
Right.
Okay, so for me, this is awesome. You know what's great about it? It's like walk into a cigar shop and I might get recognized, and that's nice. Feels good.
It is cool.
It does. It feels good.
Yeah.
Right? But anywhere else, no one knows who the fuck I am. And that's even better.
And, yeah, that's true. And I've seen that happen where people have pivoted out of the industry to promote other goods, and there's no more lines. There's no more, you know, it's like they just, oh, hey, okay, what do you got? Oh, nice to meet you. It's like, so when you develop that far and you step out, it's good that you like it, right?
Yeah.
But it's kind of curious to see if you do decide to make something else out of this whole realm. Like, you know, let's say you go back to underwear or whatever, you know.
No.
I know, but just as an
we're
example.
going to do something else in the industry.
Okay.
I'm very excited about.
All right,
and you'll
that's cool.
benefit from too.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, no, it's going to be awesome.
I would, for me, if anybody brings up your name, I always, you know, I don't ever say anything negative about what you're doing. And I want some of the people that have a bad opinion about you to just fucking hear what you have to say. You know, they don't have to. It's okay to not agree with somebody. You know.
What do you think of this cigar? Honestly,
it's really good.
Okay,
it's really
good.
good.
This is Hochi Blanco.
So okay,
how many cigars has this guy made that we don't even realize? You know what I'm saying? So now people are talking. In the last year, they're talking about Hochi Blanco because of this and the Uncle Pauly that we had, and it's like, and also that, right? So we're shining a light on the people that never got light shown on them before.
Right.
Uncle Pauly's Deli. You good?
Yeah, you're good.
Uncle Pauly's Deli.
Right.
I did that with John Buscemi.
Okay.
He's a famous sneaker maker out of L.A. He's also Steve Buscemi's like cousin.
Okay.
Right? And him and his so he's out in L.A. and he can't get like good like deli food.
Right.
Right? Big boy likes to eat. So he like calls his cousin Paul from Queens and like brings him out there. He's got tons of money. He sold his company for who knows what.
Right.
And he starts this place called Uncle Pauly's Deli.
Right.
And so we did a cigar for them with their phone number on it and everything. And it's like we're bringing the next, you know, culture into cigars.
Right.
We're going to lose this if we don't do that.
Right. You have to integrate other things.
Have to. I have to make cool people think cigars are cool again.
Right.
And the only way to do that is by collaborating with these people. And in the end, you know, when this stuff gets to someone's desk and they're going to sign off of it and they think, you know, I was just in that box at that football game with those guys and they really loved cigars. They weren't unhealthy.
Right.
They were, you know, good people. Maybe I'm not going to sign this thing.
Right.
I don't know if that's a dream or a fantasy, but I think it's reality.
No, I think that it has to get to that point.
Yeah, and so I don't want to over commercialize cigars with celebrity.
Right.
I think that was you know, where Marvin Shankin and Cigar Aficionado really took cigars. He took it to a level that it shouldn't have been taken to, in the sense of you can't keep up with that demand.
Right.
Okay. But it was awesome for cigars. Look, I read, and this is a book that I recommend everyone reads, because we think we know this industry, but we only know like 10 years of it or 20 years of it, right? When you read Stanford Newman's 100 Years in the Cigar Business, you get this global approach to cigars.
Right.
Where you're like, well, first of all, when he started, or when he was taking over his father's business in the 50s, I think like 1 in 3 men smoked cigars daily.
Right.
So it's like it was a total different business.
Right.
Yeah. And then just through Cuba and this and growing in Florida and all these things that we think we're doing for the first time has been done before. And like it's just truly amazing to look at the business from that, with that much history.
Right.
And so he said that the best time of his life was when Cigar Aficionado started and through the boom. That was the only time that he really made serious money. And when I was sitting with Eric and Bobby, his kids, I said to them, hey, we're going through like a good time in the industry, you know. Was there ever something that you went, you know, like, was there a lot of struggle in this business? And he was like, Brian, he was like, it's always been a struggle.
Always a struggle.
The pandemic, we've been through, that company's been through 2 pandemics.
Right.
They've been through the Great Depression. They've been through 4 or 5 wars. I mean, there's just always times where it wasn't good. And so for Stanford, that was like his way to exit the business, like on a big hurrah.
Right.
And that's really cool. We don't want that again. The market has spoken. They don't want celebrity. Nas has his own cigar brand.
Right.
You know, they've been calling me to work with me, like, and I'm just like, I don't know that it, you know, aside from a few guys that are huge Nas fans, which I am.
Right.
Nas is, I don't know that he's into cigars like this. Like, we don't want that.
Well,
It's a cool, this is a cool thing we have going. So we have the ability to create this sort of mini boom.
Right.
But make it all about the craft,
Right.
the actual tobacco, the people making it, the flavors that we get from it, the enjoyment, make it more of a culinary experience. These are all the things that I want to bring to the table.
Right.
And we're going to do it in the next 10 years because that's what this generation wants.
Right.
They don't want a cheap stick they can throw in their mouth, you know, at a party and just hang out.
Right. We have those, you know.
Yeah, of course.
Well, normally you take your good cigar smoker and say, here, so pick out yours, and then here's the shit that you're going to sell to somebody else. It's at a decent price. It tastes okay. And you're not going to be upset if they fucking take a few draws of it and then leave it in the ashtray, right? Yeah. So there's a place for that too.
For sure, you know? For sure.
But yeah, I mean, so Nick Jonas was on Aficionados magazine.
Huge. It was their biggest cover.
I think that's kind of a big deal. I mean, the guy gained nothing.
Oh, he got a lot of shit for it.
Right. Always. You know, I remember, AC Slater. Mario.
He smokes and he supports tobacco.
And when he tweeted about it, he got fucking hammered.
Yeah.
You know, so like, I mean, that's got to change too. But the only way that changes is like you said, you have more consumers over time, right? So
we got to address this FDA shit.
Okay.
So one of the things, no, I'm saying we have to address it, not just in this conversation, but as an industry. So the tobacco is at the National Science Academy or whatever. The FDA has basically said, we don't know what the fuck we're doing.
Right.
We're going to give it to the scientists. Let them deal with it. So I've tested tobacco.
Right.
Okay. And I haven't really talked a lot about this because I don't want any backlash if they come back and say, oh, this is terrible for you. You shouldn't do it. And by the way, Mr. Desind contributed this, you know, this document. So basically what I did was I tested tobacco like you would test marijuana.
Right.
I looked at the things, which it pretty much passes all inhalable tests.
Right.
Okay. There's a couple of things that it's high on, and those are things that are found in our food. Cadmium.
Right.
There's more cadmium in a bar of dark chocolate than there's anything that comes from volcanic ground has cadmium in it. So any coffee, all that stuff. So basically, then I said, okay, well, it has these things in it, right? So let me go get my blood tested.
Right.
So I smoked 3 cigars a day before I went. I got my blood tested. I'm at lower levels of cadmium than the average person. So it's not getting, I talked to a scientist. He said, there's no way it's getting through your saliva into your blood. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
So we're pretty good, man.
Right.
Like they're gonna test it and they're gonna find out that it's fine. Like if you're not inhaling it, you're great.
Right. I mean, the real question is, why are they doing it? And it's just for money, right? They always.
I don't look at it that way, and that's where my opinion differs. You're right. There's always a money component to this, right? They want that tax
follow the
money,
right?
At the same time, isn't the FDA supposed to be here to keep us safe?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Right. Okay.
Right, yeah.
So shouldn't they have done this a long time ago? Shouldn't they have thrown a cigar in a, whatever the hell they put it in and say, okay, this is what it's got in it. So now you know if you smoke cigars, you're at, blah, blah, blah. But then the FDA scientists did that study. 1 to 2 cigars a day is nil.
Right.
Doesn't add anything. And then, by the way, Dr. Gabby Caffey did a study of his own, and he went around getting all the information on all the owners of the cigar companies and what age they lived to. The average age was 89. It's 11 years older than the average American citizen.
Right.
So those guys are smoking 5 to 10 cigars. Factory owners, they got a cigar in their mouth all day long, and they're around secondhand smoking, everything else. So this natural tobacco doesn't seem to be a terrible thing.
100%.
What cigarettes did, what vape could be doing. They're making it in their bedrooms. I mean, come on, of course. Who knows?
Your bathtub and,
Right.
Bathtub gin.
There you go. But,
So what's next for you? So you've kind of worked things out, maybe not with everybody, but,
I think with everyone, except Abe.
Yeah.
I have no problem saying that. I've extended a few olive branches. I've asked people to have him reach out to. It's not something he wants to do, and that's fine. I'm not here to.
Okay.
I don't think he's the worst guy in the world. It is
He's
what
not.
it is. I just hear like a lot of like, and then there's another company that's been, and I think that's added to my rebelliousness and my paranoia. There's another company that's been on me from day one. And that's where I said, like, you saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. Like, this company has been spreading lies about me from day one. And now they're at the point where they're, like, telling factory owners, if you work with him, we won't work with you. Because they have some brands kind of affiliated with them.
Right.
And I'm just and the brands, the owners laugh. You can't tell a Latino man that takes pride in what he does, who he can and can't work with.
Right.
That is the worst thing you could do. It's like telling Eric Espinosa, yo, you can't sell to this guy if you want to sell him. He'll figure out a way to sell twice as much. Right. You know what I'm saying? So you could do that all you want, and that's where I think a little bit, but that stops now. Because I saw from the support on this video 700 comments.
Right.
700 comments.
That's a
and
lot.
my algorithm is fucked up because I believe that same first company has been reporting me from day one.
It's possible.
So 700 comments, and they're all amazing. One's more amazing than the next. I'm like crying every time I pull up my laptop and start answering these comments. I'm like, holy shit, the support.
Yeah.
Bro, I love this. I love all these people. I love what they've done for me. They've enriched my damn.
You're right. Take a sec.
They've enriched my life, and they've really put the battery in my back to want to do better and represent them and get them the best product. Look, at the end of the day, I would have these euphoric experiences with probably drinking with a cigar, and I'd be sitting in my backyard in PA or in Florida, like alone. Mm-hmm. And I'd be like, man, I'd love to share this with someone.
Right.
And that's where the writing came from. It was like, yo, I want you to have the same experience that I'm having.
Right.
And some people are, and that's catching on, and it's really awesome to be a part of that. But I do want to make one thing very clear. I don't care how popular we get. This isn't about my ego, and this isn't about me throwing my weight around. I'm never going to tell people who they can and can't work with.
Right.
I had someone call me.
Because it's shitty, and you've had it done to you.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. It's just not right. I was always like the bully's bully.
Right.
Like I'd always stick up for the kid getting, like, that's just who I am. So I would never do that to someone. I'd never intentionally, mess with someone's livelihood.
Right.
If you can be popular, do it. I mean, there's a company out there right now that's like, everyone hits me up. This guy's doing everything you're doing. I'm like, okay, but
it is what it is.
Yeah. But he can't, because he doesn't have you.
Right.
You're what makes, that's why I say it's about the members. You guys are what make this thing work.
Right.
I can facilitate, but you guys make it work. And somehow we made this connection, and you're on board and I'm on board. And that monthly club, that PCC, that's us pulling, that and Farm Road, that's us pooling our money together every month to get really cool stuff.
Right.
And
it's a fucking cycle, man. Because the money comes in, the money goes.
Yeah. Yeah. And by
how
the
much
way,
of that time? And you continue to grow, it gets more expensive.
And by the way, even some of the best cigar makers, like I shouldn't say that, but I can only name 2 cigar manufacturers that I can smoke their cigars as soon as they get to me.
Right.
Most of them, it's at least 3 months sitting, because they say they age it for 3 months, and it usually takes like 90 to 120 days to get the cigar. So I believe them. But even then, with the humidity conditions there and everything, especially time of the year has something to do with it. Like now we're getting into a time where we might get cigars a little less humid.
Right.
But at the end of the day, like, I have to sit on these things for at least 6 months. So I'm sitting on 2 million cigars right now.
That's a lot.
You know, for the LCA, and we have more to come.
Right.
One thing I do want to tell you, though, is that these people, these members, LCA enthusiasts, you guys supporting this thing and growing this has made the cigar manufacturers prideful.
Yeah.
They're no longer just selling a commodity. Their name is on it.
Right.
You know, I don't want to name anyone's name in particular because I don't want to piss off the brands that have given them business forever, right? Mm-hmm. But these people are calling me like, wait till you see what I have for you. And I don't tell them, like, I'm at the level of master blenders that I don't tell them what I want. I say, give me your best stuff.
Right.
And I can tell you that there are some people that will change our smoking lives in 2022. And I will personally hand deliver you some things, particularly from AJ Fernandez and Chico Rivas, that and Hugo over at Raices, that are going to make you say, what's that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
I'm
we
looking
have
forward
like
to it.
like AJ was the first one who reached out to me like, yo, I've been waiting for this to come.
Right.
And it's funny because AJ found me through his daughter.
No shit.
Yeah, because his daughter's like young on YouTube, just came across the channel, and she was like, Dad, this is the guy. Like, this is going to be the next thing. And so he hit me up like, yo, I'm ready to work. What's up? And I was like, I need your best stuff. He was like, I've got stuff for the last 10 years that I've been sitting on.
He's got a ton of shit.
And
ton
he sent us these samples, and the only way I can describe them is it's bubonic tobacco.
Right. Bubonic.
Bubonic.
Okay.
I'm going to bring them to you directly. Like, it's going to be nuts. So I saw you guys doing things here.
He's just watching the time.
Okay. Cool.
You know? So yeah, but we can wrap it up from here. Do you have anything else you want to add, or anything at all before we let you off the hook?
Yeah. If you're a cigar smoker and you're watching this and you've been involved in regards to like leaving comments, and you're someone who is a real enthusiast and you're getting some of the tasting notes and you're wanting to contribute, we're gonna have a way for the this community to really add value to the industry.
Okay.
And I'm going to create something very communal that's also very commercial at the same time, so that we can have our voices heard and different opinions heard of consumers, because the consumer at the end of the day runs the industry.
Right.
They run the show. And if we're not listening to them, then we're just doing what we want.
Right. It doesn't work.
Yeah. And I love to make jokes about my elevated palate and all that shit, but at the end of the day, I cannot pick out of those 3 cigars that come out every month out of the LCA. I cannot tell you which one is going to be. I mean, because a lot of there's been some cigars, not many, but there's 2 this year that a week before they're coming out, because they sit in the bags for a couple of months, and then I smoke them because I want to get what you're going to get, right? And there was one in particular that I smoked, and I was like, I want to pull this whole thing. And they're like, you just can't do that. And that was the one that they loved the most.
So you never know.
You never know.
Right.
Yeah. Even with my elevated palate.
Even with your sophisticated palate.
Definitely sophisticated.
It's fucking hilarious, dude.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, you have our support. We wish you the best. If there's anything we can do to help you, we're always down.
You already do.
Yeah, I appreciate that,
And I need to support you guys more. And
sure.
I want one of those. Can we get one of those?
Which one?
The deck.
Who made that for us?
The guy that died.
Oh, no. I guess we can't get one.
Yeah, we can't get another one. The
All
guy,
right.
the guy in Alabama.
Son of a bitch.
That's cool. That's cool.
The guy had an auto shop where he not remodels, but what's it called when you redo cars?
He made custom
cars. He
Yeah.
made custom cars. He
Wow.
made that for us, but he died of COVID.
Well, we don't know if it was COVID.
Oh, we don't know if
Okay.
it was COVID. Sorry.
But we're
Allegedly.
guessing.
Slow down. No one
Allegedly.
died of COVID.
No one died of COVID. It wasn't COVID.
I mean, like, that's been kind of fucking rough, man. We've had a lot of people die because of this shit, and I don't know for certain. Like, somebody was supposed to get back to me on that and
didn't
kind of
say one way or
confirm
the
it,
other?
and they did not say. So, but yeah,
But yeah, that's where it came
we
from.
got to find another skateboard guy.
Very cool.
So yeah, man. Again,
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, man. And like I said, we'll keep rolling with you. And I just wish, I'm glad that you got another opportunity to kind of clear the air, let
Yeah.
people know that you're not a complete asshole, right? Because you're not,
No, he came out very well on the show.
right? And in your video, it's okay to be emotionally charged,
Yeah.
Because fucking,
Yeah, we don't want that, like, reserved for special occasions, right?
Right.
We don't want everyone just coming out and like wilding out. We don't want to turn this into UFC, right?
right. But there is some validity of conflict that actually does help.
Mm-hmm.
As long as it's pure, right? Because for one, without conflict, you never have resolution. Sure. And for two, people are always like, ooh, what the fuck? I mean, like I had more phone calls about your video.
Wow.
And they'd be like, can you believe this? What's going on? What, like, I'm like, I guess go watch this fucking video.
Yeah.
So.
And again, like, there was another situation that you helped out in.
Yeah.
Saka.
Yeah.
And he's a great guy.
Yeah.
We're on great terms.
Cool.
Good dude.
Right.
Again, a little bit me pushing a narrative where everyone's supposed to work with Privada.
Right.
And he has his own lane. He has his own thing, and God bless him. Like, you know what I mean? So
right.
that's awesome. And not that he's not going to contribute to this movement.
Right.
I do think he'll,
right.
Be a part of it. And he is a part of it in many ways. But yeah, you looked out then too.
Of course.
I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, anytime, man.
Yeah.
Anytime. I mean, Saka's still Saka. He's gonna be like, "What the fuck does that mean?"
Like, I was gonna bury you, but we'll talk it out instead.
It's better that way.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, we're too small. This industry is way too fucking small.
Right.
And it's gotta be leveled up.
Yeah.
Several times. Yeah. So, all right.
All right, we're ready?
Anything else to add, Mike?
No. You guys did a great job.
He doesn't say shit when we have a guest.
I don't do interviews.
Yeah, he just hits the button.
All right, this has been episode 200 of the Cigar Hustler Podcast.
All right, thanks.
The Cigar Hustlers Podcast, its owners, and its sponsors take no responsibility for the opinions or statements made by the talk show host or their guest. Statements or show topics are not necessarily the beliefs of Mike and Mike Productions or the podcast providers, and opinions between talk show hosts may differ. It is not our intention to libel, incite, or hurt anyone's feelings. We invite you to write the show's host, Mike Stepankevich, with any feedback or suggestions that you have for their shows. These broadcasts are presented and made public as entertainment in the hope that they will be entertaining to the audience.
This has been a Cigar Hustlers Podcast, a Mike and Mike production. Be sure to listen every Tuesday at 10 a.m. for all new episodes.
Hi, I'm Justo Iroa.
Yeah, we just don't have to do a single podcast ever again.
Perfect.
Ever.
I'm good, Mike and Mike. How are you guys doing?
The Hojo,
Hojo! It's the Hojo!
the
You
moderator.
didn't even let him fuck it up all the way. All right,
I gotta get past Hojo! Go on.
I don't even have to try to hit the record. He's not even gonna try. We're gonna cover a lot of ground here, Mike. All right.
Try to keep up.
That's a sign of a good podcast.
Maybe
John.
like 4 cigars when I walked in the door.
All right, end this.
Squared.